All right, hi there guys. This is actually the first live feed of the day because they are on the move right now. When we caught up with them in the beginning, the migrant caravan was kind of taking a little bit of a rest. So now we're just right outside of Huixtla, which we were just in the town of and came back this way. So you can see still about 5,000 strong here coming across. Let me flip my camera around so you guys can see what I'm seeing here. Okay, so what we know here today, at this juncture, we're being told that they're likely not going to have much issue going through any of these checkpoints or any of the National Guard barricades or anything like that, because again, I've been talking to you guys about this federal protection order that they have had over them, which allows them to move throughout Mexico pretty freely here. As you can see, I mean, the roadways are closed down, 5,000 people here marching up again from Tapachula. This is day 3. So, you know, a lot of people have been talking about, oh, they look peppy, they look clean, etc., etc. I can tell you from walking with them now for 3 days, they are in fact tired. They are needing showers. They need new shoes, new clothes. They, again, have only been walking. This is day 3. So they left Tapachula after staying in a shelter. They had provisions, they had clean clothes, things like that, and then this is a caravan that they're all embarking on. Now, in 2019, you guys might remember that massive caravan as well that moved through Mexico. Well, in 2019, that caravan moved a lot quicker because they were actually able to be transported on kind of motor vehicles, whether it was ATVs, tractors, anything like that. So they actually were able to move pretty freely and pretty quickly. Did not take them that long. Yesterday, they'd only moved 16 miles in 2 days. So by the end of today, I'll try to give you guys an updated number of how far we have traveled. But at this juncture, again, we're moving very slowly. And the whole goal here, the whole goal here is to make sure that they are, you know, staying together in a group, having that situation where they have that strength in numbers. The caravan leaders, hi guys, hi. Those are the Venezuelan family that we talked to yesterday that shared all about their experience through the Darien Gap, which is the most dangerous place in the country. I mean, in the world. It is one of the most dangerous places on earth, my friends. And everybody that I have talked to says that they have encountered, I mean, several bodies. We're talking 14, 15 bodies that they encountered while traveling from Panama to Colombia or vice versa. And so, you know, those folks that are traveling from Africa, from Venezuela, they're traveling through the Darien Gap. And it takes them, some of them, one of them said that it took them 2 months to get from one point to the other. So again, you know, these folks, what you're seeing here, this is only day 3 of them traveling. They have a long road ahead of them. Mexico City is still 3 states away. Hi. So, you know, and a lot of people are saying, oh, I'm helping them. I've been traveling with these people for 3 days, talking to them, getting to know them, understanding their stories, understanding what they're doing, why they're doing it, why they're willing to do something illegal if they don't have a valid asylum claim. All of those things. And I've been telling you guys, I'm going to share the facts. I'm going to share what I'm learning, what I'm seeing, what I'm experiencing, and that just so happens to be part of it. The humanitarian side is part of it. Me being a human being and treating other people as such, that for me is a big part of it. So, you know, I think it's really important. Hey, Ben. Hey, Ben is from the UK. He is an independent journalist as well, and he's helping somebody here move up through this caravan as well. And again, I mean, I'll explain to you guys, we're not aiding and abetting. We're not enabling them. They're going to do this whether we're here or not. And these folks are exhausted, you know. And again, it's not my job to judge. It's not my job to place any blame. That's a judge, and that's the federal government, not Allie Bradley. I'm here to show y'all what we're experiencing and what we're seeing. So, okay, Venezuela here. It's starting to rain. Guatemala. Okay, they're shouting Honduras, where they're coming from. So it's starting to rain here. Honduras. It's starting to rain. We're out here in the jungle, as you guys can see. We are just outside of Huixtla. It's a little town, little community, so a lot of people have been asking, what are they doing for food? What are they doing for provisions? Well, food and things like that, they're getting at these little cities that we're stopping at, these rest points that they're stopping at. So they do have some money with them that they saved. One gentleman I shared the interview with, he's from Nigeria, Jonathan. He shared with me, he goes, I'm not going to lie to you. I've been getting, I saved money, but then I also have help from people in the States. And I asked him, is the U.S. helping you at all? Or is it just people, family, friends, sponsors? And he said the U.S. is not helping. They are not providing him any money for this. But he did say he is getting help from family and people in the States. So some of these folks have a little bit of money. Now, I talked to Victor as well, and he said he doesn't even have money to eat. He met up with a group of people. He's from El Salvador, and he met up with a group of guys from Central America, and they're all kind of sharing resources. So again, it's not like they're swimming in water and food out here, my friends. And I'm not trying to share these kinds of things so that it tugs at your heartstrings or so that you feel bad, but it's the reality. There's been a lot of misconception about what happens in these caravans and what has happened in the past, and this is a little bit different than what's happened in the past. They are legitimately walking in this. When I talked to Victor, he showed me the bottom of his shoes, and they're almost completely worn through. The Nigerians that we talked to, they're on month 3 of their journey, and I mean, some of them left back in May. So they are going through a journey. Whether you want to accept where they're heading or not, they are going through, they are going through a really, really strenuous journey in order to have a potential chance of getting into the U.S. I have talked to several people where I'm like, you know what? Do you think that you're going to have a viable chance of getting into the U.S. if the only reason that you're trying to get into the U.S. is to make a better life for yourself, to make money, to work? And a lot of them are like, wait, what is an economic claim versus a legitimate asylum claim? So I keep talking about they're kind of sold like a half-truth, you got a chance. And so these people are going through this really, really arduous process just for a chance of getting into the U.S. Some of them, some of the hope has turned into fear for some of them because they have learned they might get apprehended, things like that. I had one gentleman come up and say, are we going to get sent to jail? Because we're hearing that we might. And if that's the case, we want to go back to Tapachula because we don't want to go to jail. We're being told that we can move through and get into the U.S. So again, those are the facts that those are the facts that we know, that we're learning, that, we understand. I'm walking right behind Oscar Blue here. Hey, Oscar. It is torrential downpour at this point. And so, again, what's really, really interesting here, and one of the gentlemen that we're with, one of the independent journalists that we're with, was sharing information with us because he has some information that's coming out of this caravan, like an embedded informant, if you will. And so what we're learning here is that they've got that protection order through that federal judge, but what's interesting is that protection order is not sealed, it is not signed, sealed, delivered. Right now, they're waiting for an appointment to meet with a judge for protection. So what's really interesting is if they get stopped, then any law enforcement is infringing on their rights because they have a right to see a judge. They have a right to go through that fair process. And so they can't be stopped, basically, is what the law enforcement individuals are saying, because if they stop them, if they infringe on that right, then the caravan leaders are threatening the president of Mexico with a massive lawsuit for violating human rights and different things like that. So there's a lot of moving parts to this and a lot of factors that are coming into play here for sure. But again, they're moving pretty freely throughout Mexico. So on day 1 was the first and only confrontation that we've seen and experienced. Day 1 was when you saw about 400 Mexican National Guard troops, men and women, with their shields and full-on rash guards, their armor basically, to keep them safe. And all they could do really was stand there and watch 5,000 people barrel past them. And I asked one of the guys, he goes, well, God's with us because they didn't use any violence. And I said, man, I don't think they could. So what do you think would have happened if they could? And he said, but they didn't. So God's with us. So there's some interesting conversations being had out here for sure. But law enforcement isn't really able to do their job right now because they've got their hands tied really. So they can't really stop them. Like I said, we've got 5,000 people. Earlier today, we saw the Mexican military out, and then they relocated. We were hearing earlier, oh, they might stop, they're going to be in operation, they're going to try and detain them, they're going to try and send some people back. So the two different facilities that they would even send people to, one's in Mexico City, one's in Tapachula. But they're saying they're not going to be doing any of that because of that protection claim. And so it's really, really interesting again. But as we continue to walk through this caravan here, 5,000 people, mostly from Central America, but we have talked to several people from West Africa, Nigeria, Ghana. We've talked to Venezuelans. A lot of folks who have traveled through the Darien Gap, which again is the most dangerous spot on Earth. It is the most deadly crossing. It connects the two Americas and is the only landline that gives that access. So anybody that's trying to get in from that direction has to cross the Darien Gap. And it's taken some people 8 days just to get through the river area. One gentleman said it took him 2 months to get from one point across to the next. It's so sweet. Yeah, there's a lot of little kids out here too. So we're also being told, you know, like there's a lot of strategy with this group. There's like 50% women and families in this caravan. And we know that there were QR codes. We know that there were ways for people to sign up on Facebook. Griff Jenkins, he's here with Fox News. Him and I have been talking extensively, and he's been talking about this QR code, and he actually is putting it out. So that is something that people are able to register for this caravan. And so then when they register for this caravan, they see just who's going to be here. They see, okay, we've got these families, we've got this many men, we've got this, you know, this demographic. And in the past, in the other caravans, we saw a lot of Haitians. In this caravan, it's very, very minimal on that span of things. Now, I did also ask about, you know, why this mix of people, why a lot of Haitians weren't in this group, but there are apparently some more people that are scattered throughout Mexico. We know through Comar, which is a commission of refugees that they do documentation, they've had 90,000 applicants for asylum last month. And so with that being said, that means there's, you know, 80,000, 90,000 people that are hoping for asylum, and Tapachula is the first spot that's a crossing. So if you're in Tapachula and you cross over, that's where you are going to claim asylum. So there are thousands of people in Tapachula and in the surrounding areas. Now we know all of these people were basically imprisoned in Tapachula. They were not able to escape. They weren't able to go anywhere because the government wouldn't let them, they tell us. But they also weren't given food. They weren't given really housing, anything like that. Some of them were in some shelters, but they were really frustrated. Not that they expected to be taken care of, but they were saying, if we're going to be stuck here, you have to provide something. If you're not going to let us leave, you have to provide something. So some of the migrants that we've talked to said they don't want to stay in Mexico because Mexico didn't take care of them. Okay, this is what we're walking through right now. You see this little boy here. Hey, hola! Yeah, this is rough. It's like a monsoon out here right now. Okay, so we're traveling through into a torrential downpour in the jungle, walking with a group of 5,000 migrants, mostly from Central America, trucking through. But again, a lot of people don't think that we're actually walking this. We are. They are. You know, I'm not sure. I asked, well, you know, our bus is going to come. Come on. Come on, guys. The buses are going to come at some point, right? So they said, like I told you guys, in 2019, it was outlawed for them to be transported. That's like human trafficking. But them walking, it's a different story. It's kind of a gray area. It's kind of a loophole. So they said, I go, well, isn't the Catholic Church going to jump in, send some buses? Because it's speculation, right? Those are the conversations you guys all are having. I said, no, they can't. They can't because of legalities here in the country. And so they're saying they got to walk this. So it's going to be real interesting. We got people bailing right now. I don't know if they're going to use this as a stopping point or what, but man, wow. Here we go, guys. I mean, absolutely soaked. I mean, we're going with the caravan, man. That's our guy. We're with, let's go. We're with Carlos, and he's, oh man, an amazing independent journalist here in Tapachula. And so we're, hey man, look at, he's driving beside us. Come on, cabron! Come on! Okay, yeah, so we got families just taking shelter right now, taking cover, because this is insane. So, wait, so they are supposed to like part off and stuff. They want them to keep together, and we're seeing like massive groups piece off. Are they going to stop, or what's up?
Their feet hurt. One of them is their feet hurt, they're tired. And other ones that they're just keep on walking because they have children. And the ones that they're stopping, some of them they have children, some of them they're tired. So,
But again though, why isn't the caravan leader stopping the whole mass? Because isn't the goal to keep them all together? So now we got half of the group.
they're gonna rejoin over here.
Okay.
There's a spot where they're gonna rest.
Okay.
This is where they're gonna rest.
Okay.
So it's like a stadium park, whatever it is. I don't.
And then that's for the end of the day, right?
Yeah, that's
probably.
for the end of the day.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. So we're, oh man, alive! Holy! All right, guys. This is a real scene. This is the walk through the jungle here. So again, in 2019, they moved through Mexico, moved north, basically took a very similar path. But again, they were able to be in taxis or in a tractor or in a cart or, mobilized. Well, the government, after that happened, because they made it where they were going pretty quickly, the government said that's the end of that. Hey, there's our guy. After that, they outlawed it. So when they were like, you guys can't do that anymore, now they are literally hoofing it. They're on their feet, walking. This view's got flip-flops on. Most of them do. I mean, like, when you guys are thinking they're not walking and they look too peppy and too clean, I'd like to hear your opinions today, because y'all have been really loud about that. So I'd love to know what you're thinking about today's trek, because this, I mean, and I don't mean to be rude, but they all need showers. Luckily I've had a place to stay and a place to sleep. So these folks are struggling. Again, I've talked to some gentlemen who just said, we don't want to abuse your kindness, but can you help us find shoes? Our shoes are wearing, through, and that's tough, man. That's really hard, because that is a reality. They are human beings, but there is a legal process to get into the U.S. But I want to break this down for you guys too, because a lot of people are making, comments. Whatever, you guys are entitled to it. You guys are entitled to your comments. But here's the thing: when you guys are like, go back, do it legally. And it's someone with a legitimate asylum claim. Someone from West Africa, someone from Nigeria who has legitimately been persecuted. Some of the Venezuelans, a former police officer who his life was threatened, his whole family's life was threatened for months, years. Those are legitimate asylum claims, you guys. And through our country, that is legal. So when you say go back and do it legally, there are some people, and I'm saying some, the majority here are just going over to the U.S. because they think they can have a better life, okay? That is true. That is illegal. That is not a legitimate asylum claim. That is not. Now, what's sad is some of them don't know that. They're being sold the half-truth, the bag of goods, right? Hey, girl, hi. They're being sold that bag of goods. Like, you'll get in, you'll get in, you'll get in. So they make this trek because there's money in all of this, right? There's funding that comes in. There's, oh, look it, we're struggling, this is hard, send money. That happens, and this is like business. And these people, a lot of them feel like they're currency and used as like a political football. It's insane. But so when you guys are like, go back, do it legally, I just need you to understand what that means. Because if you guys are mad and you want to come and put, rude comments on my page about me helping them or whatever, take that pen to paper and write to your Congress leaders, write to your local representatives. Tell them you want to change in Washington, because you just coming for me and saying that I'm helping them and I'm doing something wrong and they're illegal and they need to go back. You guys need to advocate for change. I'm showing you the truth and showing you what's happening. You got to go out there and you got to tell people you want to change if this makes you mad, if it makes you frustrated. That's what's going on. But legitimate asylum claims, though, are people that are going to be killed or persecuted if they're in their country. That is what asylum is. It's being taken advantage of. There is no doubt in that, because our DHS secretary even said basically all they have to do is say, I'm here seeking asylum. And then they get basically 12 to 36 months to figure out if it is legitimate or not. And in 12 to 36 months, a lot can happen. Families are, had that, all of that happens, work, all of that, okay? So in 3 years, in 1 year to 3 years, a lot can transpire. And so that's what you guys should be frustrated at. And that's the illegal side of it, right? People coming in and trying to take advantage of that asylum claim that some legitimately have. So please understand the difference. Please understand what that looks like, and understand, and Mike is saying illegal is illegal. Man, you've got to keep in mind that people, okay, again, it's not illegal if our country made a law allowing it. You can't say it's illegal. I mean, I'm a journalist. You can't, that's not a fact. You can have an opinion and say you don't like it, but if it's a legitimate asylum claim, our congressional leaders made that a law. The ones who are coming in just saying, we just want to work in the U.S. because Mexico doesn't pay us enough, that's not legal. That's what the majority of them are. Okay? Don't get it twisted. I'm just trying to give you guys some info. Okay, we're getting in the taxi. We're going to get in a taxi, apparently. Where are we going?
Where they're going to stay at.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to carry on where they're going to stay at, because they're posted up in this little area and there's no reason for us to sit here and wait. So again, there are different little nuances and things like that, and yes, you guys are always going to have your opinions and your thoughts on what immigration is. He says illegal to not come back to court. Well, yeah, it's illegal to not show up for your court date. That's duh. But again, the fact that they can get in and just say, oh, we just want to work here, like that is when you should go through the process legally. That, like, do y'all get that? I hope that makes sense. I hope that helped a little bit. But yeah, so someone said, how many are you housing, lady? None, because I'm here, boots on the ground on my own dime, doing this story, showing the facts so that you guys can form your own opinions, because American mainstream media has completely taken that opportunity away from you. So I am, out of the gumption in my own heart, here. I'm not getting paid by anyone, y'all. So I'm not housing anybody because I don't have any money to house them. What do you mean? How many are you housing? Come on, cabron. Okay, so yeah, I'm trying to give you guys as many facts as I can. So someone else is asking, have we heard that there's a large group heading? Okay, so what we do know, and in the beginning of my feed, what I was talking to you guys about is Comar is that Commission of Refugees. They do have thousands of people throughout Mexico, scattered throughout Mexico, that have put in applications for asylum in Mexico. So that means that there are thousands. Oscar, it was 90,000 we looked at, right?
Tapachula, yeah.
Yeah, in Tapachula. So I'll post that image here after this live. I'll let you guys see it, and there's a link as well, and I posted it to Twitter. So there are thousands. Not in this caravan. In this well, there are thousands. There are about 5,000, and it's kind of growing slowly. But so there are about 5,000 migrants in this caravan. People are throwing out the 60,000 number. That's not in this caravan, but that number does exist throughout Mexico. They are waiting to move. They are waiting to either stay in Mexico and work. Now again, the majority though are gonna want to go to the U.S. That's the thing. And these Ireneo Mujica is one of the caravan leaders, and he keeps saying we're going to Mexico City so that we can get legal documentation so that these people can stay and work here if they want. And I said, but Mujica, they don't want to stay here and work here. They say the wages aren't good enough for the amount of work that they have to do. And he said, well, that's up to them then. So we know, again, the majority of people are in fact wanting to head to the U.S. Some of them have already been deported once, and they don't even know that what they're doing is A, illegal, B, they don't really have a chance in heck to get in. And so that's what I'm saying, is they're kind of sold this half-truth, like used to be as pawns kind of one by one. Why is that closed off? For them?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, I am soaking wet. Okay, I'm gonna dip out of this live stream, guys. I hope that I answered some of your questions. I hope that you guys got some. Are these? They made it here first?
Yeah.
Oh shoot. Okay, I'm keeping my live stream going. We just arrived at the park that they're going to be staying at for the night. We've got ambulances here. We've got municipal lawmakers, so police, things like that. We've got immigration. Hey, thank you. Gracias. Okay.
Let's go over there.
Yeah. I'll follow you.
Over there. Okay.
Okay, we're gonna go over here. They've got like restrooms set up here. Let's see. Porta potties. Here you go, guys. Here is now where they're all kind of not camping out, but they're here right now under shelter because it is torrentially downpouring still. Okay. Do you want to walk through right here? Okay. Okay, so if you guys are just joining us, let me flip this around. We are in Huixtla, which is, I did not check the mileage, but I need to look. It's probably 25 miles from Tapachula. This is day 3 of a migrant caravan of about 5,000 that are now seeking shelter in this torrential downpour. And we're apparently walking this way. Where are we going now? Oh, I'm good.
Back.
Oh, okay. Now we're going back again. So yeah, it is like monsoon jungle weather out here. So this is where they're gonna kind of camp out, kind of post up for the night, most likely. They've only been traveling less than 10 miles a day. Okay.
Sit up here, and I'll sit up over there in the corner if you wanna.
Okay.
Better for you.
Okay. Okay, so we are getting a little shelter from this rain. Hi, hola. Getting a little bit of shelter because this is insane. Okay, so again, we are at one of the stopping points here for day 3. Wow. Okay, I'm not going to talk for a minute. I'm going to just keep chatting about this. Okay, so someone's asking, what's my opinion on this situation? Are you for or against? You seem to be caught in the middle. I'm going to tell you, thank you, bless your heart, because that is the best compliment I could ever get. I am a journalist. My training is to be neutral. My training is to be objective. When you are a journalist, that's actually in the definition of journalism. So if you are feeling like you know what side a journalist is on, you need to find another journalist to follow, because we are not supposed to tell you how to feel. We are not supposed to tell you what we feel. We are supposed to allow you to think freely and to feel what you want to feel about the facts you are presented with, and feel what you want to feel about the situation that you are witnessing and experiencing. And I really, really hope that these experiences that I'm living through help challenge you to have conversations that might make you uncomfortable. That might be something like how I was saying, illegal isn't illegal in our country, because we have routes for people to take, but those routes are being taken advantage of. And our government isn't doing anything to fix that, right? We know that immigration reform has been talked about, but has not even been touched. We know there is no conversation about what should happen with this situation. We know that that's not happening in the U.S. We also know that there aren't conversations being had between the countries that these folks are coming from. We know Vice President Kamala Harris went to Guatemala and kind of whispered, don't come, because we asked these people, did that matter? And No, man, half of them are already en route. But a lot of them are like, no, we're just hoping that by the time we get there, they'll reconsider. That's what they say. They'll reconsider. They'll change their mind. They'll let us stay. That's legitimately what's going on in these thought processes that these people are having. So again, we're here in Huixtla. You have 5,000. Well, they're not 5,000 yet because the rest of them stopped back there a little ways to get shelter while there was some shelter to have. So these folks here now are waiting. They're likely going to stay here for the evening, but as you can see, I mean, if the rain doesn't stop, they're crowded in here like sardines. So, I'm not really sure what the situation will be if it continues to rain as it is, but we are definitely watching this scene unfold. We're watching groups continuously join. 5,000 people are in this caravan specifically that we are traveling along with. Again, okay, so someone is saying, please read this. Have you heard the large group is on their way to the border? I might have already responded to that. From Haiti to the border, they are all extremely violent, have already taken over. Okay. Let me just get to the bottom of that really quick. So there's been a lot of talk and a lot of speculation about armed Haitians, about 380,000 people storming into Texas. There's been all of that conversation. You guys have seen it. Y'all have seen it. I know you have. There was cartel activity and shootouts in McKinney and all of this crazy stuff, right? Y'all saw that? I talked to my sheriff friends and I talked to a boots on the ground Texas DPS person that knows exactly what's going on. And they both said all of that is not true. There is no truth to any of that. It is all exaggerated. And again, I've had that confirmed now from 2 law enforcement sources. And law enforcement in the U.S. has been pretty open to talking with me and with other journalists because they want people to understand what's happening. They want things to change. They want the administration to notice what's going on. And that's why I was down in Del Rio a month before the surge of the Haitians. Because in Del Rio, in Brooks County, in Hidalgo County, they all were frustrated about how the administration was not handling their immigration problems at all. So they're pretty open to talking about it. They haven't really had any reason to lie or withhold things. And they tell me when things aren't reportable and when they are. And right now, those things are not true. So I shared about that as well on my page. Try not to share that, those misinformed little things. And if you have questions, DM me, ask other people that have boots on the ground because there's a lot of misinformation out there from both sides. One side wants it to look a certain way and the other side wants it to look really bad and 380,000 armed Haitians. So just fact check, just double check because we're already so divided and we're already so stressed out and so frustrated and so angry. We don't need any more of that fuel. So fact check, ask somebody who is legitimately here what's going on. Griff Jenkins with Fox News is here. Oscar L. Blue is on social media as well. I'm here. Ask somebody before just wildly sharing and getting in your head about how awful it's going to be. I'm not dismissing that this is a situation. I'm not dismissing that the crisis is not happening. It is. This is a border crisis. This is an immigration crisis. You've got people dying on a trek to the U.S. going through a Darien Gap, and the idea is that they can get in, right? You've got these people. The idea is that they can get in. They're getting sick. They're tired. All of that. So, again, there's a lot of layers to this. A lot of people have asked where they go to the bathroom, where they eat, what they do. Well, there are porta potties at this location. We've seen a lot of people just stop to use the restroom in the woods. We just see people part off and then join the group again. And that's just the reality of being out in the jungle for 3 days. That's what's happening. They don't have showers. They don't have clean clothes. They don't have new shoes. They don't have really food and water other than what nonprofit organizations or groups like this. This is one of the nonprofit organizations that is kind of here monitoring this whole situation and making sure that it is humane to a degree, right? Because that's not something that you want. You don't want people dying or things like that in this caravan either. Some people are asking if we know anybody is sick. I have not seen anybody like coughing, struggling, having those kind of issues. Now I have seen people heat exhausted, like, too hot to walk, things like that. But I haven't seen any visible, sickness. People are asking if we know if anybody's sick. I haven't seen anybody extremely ill, have you? Other than
No.
just heat exhaustion and stuff?
Well, only that, but they have, it's to say, obviously, what is going on in Tapachula is that there's a lot of infections when it comes to syphilis, gonorrhea, and AIDS.
Okay.
But we haven't seen.
Well, yeah, you won't see that. You won't. You won't. That's not something that's going to be visible. That's not like COVID. How you see people coughing and you're like, oh, they're sick. But I will tell you, when we were in Del Rio, I mean, out of the Haitian group, there were a lot of communicable diseases that were confirmed there. So someone saying FEMA just denied Abbott's plea for help. We know that the governor had reached out and was trying to get a federal emergency enacted so that they could make sure that they had federal help, that the state was not doing this on its own. And then someone's asking, what makes me think that they're going to tell the truth? Again, I mean, all I can do is tell you what I'm learning and then question them when it sounds like, hey, maybe this isn't something that's legitimate. And I have pushed back. I have asked, hey, you know what? Oh, we don't want to do anything illegal. But sir, what you're doing is illegal. How do you feel about that? And then their answer, they're like, we were moved to do this. They legitimately, one of their caravan leaders really, really rests heavily on faith and on the Catholic and Christian faith. And so he's playing on that with this group for sure. And we know a lot of people from Central America. There's a lot of people that believe in God, right? So when he's playing to that note and he's saying God's on our side, nobody can stop us because we have faith. Faith can move mountains. Faith can move mountains is what we've heard. And so that's the line, that's the encouragement that they're getting, right, from one of their caravan leaders. The other one is like, we got this, si se puede, we're going, we can do this. So that's the group leaders that are encouraging them and that are getting them excited, so to speak. So when one of the guys says, well, we were moved to do this, and you've got caravan leaders that are saying God is on our side and we deserve to be in the U.S., we deserve to move freely, we deserve to have rights, we deserve to have jobs, they all agree and they all believe it. And so they're all on a trek together trying to get to Mexico City first. From there, they will continue on, most of them, to the U.S. border, to the U.S. southern border. Now, I did ask a lot of them what, they're going to do or say when they are encountered with the cartel. When they end up at the U.S. border, the cartel basically runs the southern border between the U.S. and Mexico. Everybody has to pay a price. So I did ask them, what are they going to do about that? They don't have money. But the thing is, they will either get money funneled in from family or a sponsor or somebody like that is what I'm being told. So they might have some kind of option, to pay cartel and to have that passage as well. So, yeah, there's a lot of kids here. Again, there's all of these folks. We are in Huixtla. Okay. Someone's asking why are people being rude. I think that's just, I think sometimes too, things don't translate correctly through a keyboard. And so I try to give people grace and give people the benefit of the doubt. If they have legitimate questions, I'll try to answer. But, I'm not going to pay any mind to anybody who comes for me because I just don't care. I just don't. I don't work for anybody. You going to fire me? You don't have to watch my page. It's the beauty of live streaming on social media when you're an independent journalist. All right. So yeah, I mean, it bothers me to see that people are rude in this world because I would love to believe that people still have good hearts, but people are mad, man. I get it. People are frustrated. So I'm just out here to show you what's happening. And again, if what your heart and what your mind decides is that you want to be mad at Allie Bradley, that's your prerogative. So where she's from is she is from an organization that is for the defense of life and dignity. So they're activists, like nonprofit activists that come here to make sure that the treatment is. Do you want to plug? Oh, I think I left my other mic in the car. Sorry about that. Yeah. We're getting annihilated. We're like laughing with this guy because we're just getting pelted in the back. It's fine. It's fine. It's caravan life, man. Yeah, Alicia, it is really hard to take in. This is a lot of people. And again, you know, there's 50% of this caravan is women and children. And you've got pregnant women. And what's going to happen? You know, when they get up to the border, are they going to be turned back? We don't know. Biden says yes, the borders are closed, so they'll be turned back. Most of them, believe they won't be. And they have faith and believe that Joe Biden will change his mind. So that's one of their law enforcement individuals here. Wow. I'm not really sure what's going on, but they're hollering about something. What's going on? Oh, they're bringing food in, I think. So people are saying, you know, we have veterans, we have families, we have people living on our streets. Yeah, homelessness is a huge issue in the U.S. It's a huge issue in the U.S. There's no denying that, but that's not this issue. That's the issue the government has to fix, and this is the issue the government has to fix. It is not oranges and oranges or apples and apples, right? They are not going to be handled with the same legislation. So you can't compare this to homelessness. That's an issue that our government and King County, if you're living in Seattle, has basically refused to make into a better situation, has basically turned a blind eye to. This, a different situation that they've turned a blind eye to, right? So it's hard to compare and say that these are the same things. Okay, so they got, I didn't know that they do like bags of water, but that's very normal. They get some water here from one of the officers that's helping out a little bit. Here we go. Just soaking wet. He's washing his socks off. Taking advantage of the rain, man. Mother Nature's washing machine right here. I don't even know if you guys can see just how extreme this weather is right now. I'm kind of blocking a little baby so she doesn't get completely soaked. This is insane. The government is not a fixer. No, but the government needs to make laws to adjust what's happening. Because you can't, the laws protect a lot of things right now or have been in place to enable things to perpetuate, right? So someone says who supports them if they get in. They can have sponsors. A lot of them are meeting up with families. A lot of them are meeting up with families, y'all. Just so you know, a lot of them already have family members that have gotten into the U.S. and told them exactly how to do it. So a lot of them are meeting up with family members. And then the other ones that don't, they anticipate basically getting a job and working under the table as long as they can while they await either their NTR, their court date, or they wait to meet with an immigration judge, immigration office. So that's legitimately what they say. A lot of people want to speculate that it's somebody different that's helping them and that's funding this. I can't confirm that because I haven't seen it with my own eyes, y'all, and I'm not going to give you that. So if you want to continue with those theories, that's your prerogative. Now, some people are also asking about. They're asking about vaccines. To my knowledge, none of them have been COVID tested, none of them have been offered a vaccine, given a vaccine, nothing like that, unless they received it in their country. But when we were in Del Rio, they certainly were not testing. Those people I know were getting on domestic flights and traveling around with potential communicable diseases. They only were tested if they went to the hospital for an ailment or were having a baby. So there were people in that 15,000 group of people that were underneath the international bridge. There were certainly people there that had communicable diseases that nobody knew about. There's no way to deny it. When you're this close together like this, there's 15,000 of you, and one person has COVID or tuberculosis, there's going to be at least one other, right? So there were folks there that got on domestic flights. I mean, I remember sharing a bunch of images and stuff, and I was on flights with people that were out of Del Rio and out of Texas. So there's a lot of things to be frustrated at, a lot of questions, a lot of anger that people have. I get that for sure, but the only way, if you want something to change, it's not going to be getting mad at somebody on Facebook. It's not going to be sending images, or it's not going to be about sending messages to people, to individuals on Facebook being mad. You guys have to, when you guys say when you say that we don't work for the government works for us, then you got to make them work for you. You got to send them messages. You got to tell the government. You got to tell your leaders you want to change. That's the only way, because I can't do that for you, right? And if I go advocate for change, then I'm on a side. So that's why you guys got to do your thing. Okay. So yeah, we are just in this torrential downpour here, and have been for quite a while. I guess you can't tell I'm sweating anymore, so that's good. All right. So again, we are here in Huixtla. It is outside of Tapachula. Probably, how far? What are we? 20 miles from Tapachula? 25?
Around 46 kilometers. That is, give or take, 29 miles.
Okay, about 29 miles. They like to give me things in the kilometers here because that's the way. So about 29 miles from Tapachula, and that's in 3 days, y'all. So they have not been moving very quickly. In 2019, they were actually able to kind of be transported, whether it was on a tractor, a car, whatever that looked like, but they were on wheels, right? So they're moving much faster. We're able to get to their destinations much quicker. Now we are seeing this situation here, day 3, 29 miles. I mean, that's 10 miles a day. They got a lot of ground to cover before they get to Mexico City. And then I said, well, okay, so then when are the buses coming? When are the buses going to sneaky come and get them? Because I have those questions. Like, no way they're going to do this. Apparently, if they get on a vehicle, you saw I posted on my page, National Guard was all set up and they were checking vehicles and checking taxis to make sure that the migrants weren't being transported. That is trafficking. So walking, it's like this loophole under this protection claim that they have. It's really, really crazy what's happening. But yeah, and they have not had any contact with law enforcement aside from the one confrontation that we witnessed with hundreds of National Guard troops that these 5,000 people just basically barreled through the National Guard in seconds, right? You guys saw that live feed. So they have not had another confrontation or interaction with law enforcement. I was kind of making the joke when we went through Huehuetan at our last stop yesterday. INM was there, and that's the Immigration and Customs Enforcement basically here in Mexico. And they were kind of like taking pictures of people like they're walking through because they couldn't do anything. If they do anything to stop them, the caravan leaders are apparently threatening to sue the Mexican government because they have this meeting. They all have an appointment with a judge for protection, and if they get apprehended and they don't get to have that appointment, then that's infringing on their right for like this fair process of what they're working for. So it's just wild. They're not able to be touched, basically, and they know it. However, this morning, some of them were very fearful because they heard that people were being apprehended and being sent to jail. So there's a lot of different conversations happening, a lot of talk that happens, but at the end of the day, again, we are in Huixtla. My Spanish is muy malo. But we are outside of Tapachula, about 29 miles from Tapachula, which is where we started. Tapachula is a stone throw away from the Guatemalan border. Now we're in Huixtla. We are still in Chiapas, still in the same state that we've been in for 3 days. Okay, so they haven't made it through one state. They got 3 more states to get through before they get to Mexico City. That's destination numero uno. Well, destination. And if you guys are just joining what the caravan leaders are saying there, Mojica is one of the really outspoken activists. He's been in trouble before during the Trump administration. President Trump put a lot of pressure on Mexico to basically get a handle on the immigration crisis. So they put pressure on Mexico. Mexico actually detained Mojica for instigating this, basically, for being the person behind all of this. And he was freed, released. Now he's back out here. He is both. He actually apparently was born in the U.S., so he's a naturalized American citizen, but has dual citizenship and lives in Mexico. And so he plays both sides. It's really interesting. I've shared some interviews with him as well. So that will be something that will be interesting. Now people are saying, they don't speak English. Again, they're willing to work under the table jobs. They know they can work construction. They can work at hotels. They can work in restaurants. Like they know what their options are if they get in. So, we'll see. I don't know if someone's calling me Karen or responding to someone else. So many churches, Catholic charities, help migrants get settled in cities. Yes, that's absolutely true. So we know that in the Rio Grande sector, the Rio Grande Valley, there is a huge Catholic charities organization in McAllen. We talked with Sister Norma Pimentel, my first trip over here, back in August. And so she is really big involved, and what they do is basically once these people get to their destination, so once they cross the U.S. border and get processed from Border Patrol, released from Border Patrol, they go to an NGO. Those are non-government organizations that they're nonprofits, so they get funding from a lot of places. It's really hard to follow that money, really hard, but they get a lot of funding and they're doing just fine. She claimed that they were not getting help from the U.S. government back in August. I'll have to circle back and check in on that one. But Catholic Charities does help them. It does help them find, basically their next steps to where they're going to be going. NGOs help them in general. Like, okay, where's the sponsor family you're going to? Where's this location that you're going to be going to? And that's what those folders are and those manila envelopes that they have. And some of them read, like, help me, I don't speak English. Where do I need to go? Those are coming from NGOs. So we are for sure seeing that. Okay, so again, I'm here answering questions, whatever you guys have questions on right now, because we are just here live streaming with this caravan. So if you guys have questions that you need me to ask, let me know. If you have questions while I'm here right now, let's discuss, let's chat. Someone's saying, so this is all going to benefit the U.S.? I don't know the answer to that, right? I don't know. Stop being Karen. What does that even mean? Mohammed? Stop being Karen. Well, is it because I'm dressed like a soccer mom? Leave my page, Mohammed. Bye. So, yeah. We've got thousands of people here that are waiting. This is likely where they're going to camp out for the day. About 29 miles in 3 days. Oh, they've got a lot of ground to cover before they get to Mexico City. So they're saying, who's paying these sponsor families to take care of them? So what I need to dig into, I actually love that question because I am working to figure out what constitutes being a sponsor. What does someone have to do? Do you have to have a certain amount of money? Do you have to have some kind of legal tie to them? What are you responsible for? Those things. So I am working to figure that out. From what I understand, basically anybody can sponsor a migrant. I don't know how, but you probably can go to the United Nations page and find out. There's probably ways that you can sign up to claim that you will be basically the guardian of somebody who comes over and doesn't have anybody. There are unaccompanied minors here. I don't believe you can sponsor unaccompanied minors. I think they go into a completely different situation. So yeah, I'm going to try to answer some more questions. Bus after busloads of male military age being taken to North Carolina. I don't know anything about that because I've been here in Mexico, but I will look into that. I will ask. I will see if I can find any law enforcement sources in North Carolina and find out. Who is taking the kids? Sorry about that. Who's taking care of the kids that are on their own? You know, we talked to a 16-year-old yesterday. He's on his own. He said he's not scared. He's just hopeful. I don't know about the littles. I think they kind of glom onto a family unit, and kind of the family kind of takes them under their wing, because I don't see a lot of little kids wandering around aimlessly by themselves. Now, I think what I understand happens once they get to the U.S. border is that Border Protection and Customs will take them to a specific location. One of them is in, it's the studios at Carrizo Springs. There is a facility for teenage unaccompanied minors. So that is there as well. So there are different facilities that unaccompanied minors go to. They don't stay in the big group. And even when you go to Customs and Border Protection's page and their breakdown of their statistics, they break down unaccompanied minor numbers and family units and single adult males as well. So they break all those numbers down. It's really, really easy to find that. It's just, if you just type in CBP, that's Customs and Border Protection, you'll get taken to their page and see statistics there if you want them for yourself. Karen means I'm a Dem. Oh, I don't know what that is. I thought Karen meant that you were just being like an obnoxious, annoying person that was doing stupid things. I don't even know, and I really don't care, but he can leave. Okay, let's see. They took him to a military base here. Okay, so that's in North Carolina. Okay, so we also know that in Del Rio, they have brought in 700 to 1,400 National Guard troops and crew members. And they actually have a hangar at Laughlin Air Force Base that they are going to be using for Humvees and different military-grade equipment and things like that. And it's not because this is what they said, this is what Judge Owen said, it's not because they anticipate another crossing and another surge in Del Rio. It's more so because that is an area that is easy to deploy from. It's easy to go to any area of the border from right there in Del Rio, and they have the land and they have the capabilities to do it. As you guys know, they bought Broke Mill RV Park and they converted that as well into basically a National Guard staging area. So again, a lot of people don't speculate they're going to go back through Del Rio or back through McAllen and La Jolla, because they've already kind of breached that area. They already got eyes on them. They've already had, people are already there watching to make sure that doesn't happen again. So it would be harder for them to go through that area. Okay, let's see. I don't even know. Okay, so anybody else have any questions? Questions. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna jump off my live feed for a little bit and get some video and stuff, because right now you're just looking at the same thing.
Don't worry. It's a chance.
What are they saying though? Culero.
Culero is like a significance. It's a.
Culero?
Huh?
Culero? Okay.
It's a derogatory word to you're a bad guy.
So they're chanting.
Somebody's not sharing clothing.
So they're like calling someone out in the group. Okay, so he said it's kind of like you're a bad guy because you're not helping, you're not sharing, maybe, is what they're saying, because they were just chanting that. So that is, someone says, hola, Oscar.
How you doing?
Yeah, if you guys want to, he's probably streaming. Are you on Facebook or Twitter?
Facebook, Oscar Blue.
Well, no, what are you streaming on right now?
YouTube.
Okay, he's on YouTube. I'm going to dump out of my live feed so I can get some video and stuff. That's a very bad word. Okay, that's what I'm learning, Sue. Thank you. She goes, that's a bad word. And they're like, yeah, muy mal. Sorry, I was repeating what the chant was because I don't know. Mohammed, get off my page. I'm going to block you. Bye.